Hello students, again another bio class we are meeting today, and a continuation of the first video that you have already received, that we have started with the first chapter of your syllabus of class 6, that is leaf. First part we have done the structure of a simple leaf. We have done the differences between a simple and a compound leaf, and about the characteristic features about the leaves we had already done phyllotaxy. Remember phyllotaxy, the arrangement of leaves on stem. I showed you two types of leaves on that day. One is the alternate and the other one was the opposite. Today I brought you the third, just to show you the third type of the phyllotaxy, third type of the arrangement, which is called the whorled arrangement. You remember alternate, opposite and whorled. So today I got this sample for you, whorled arrangement. See, from one point, you can see the node here, 1 point, and from 1 point more than 2 leaves. It's normally odd numbers, 3, 5, 7. When they come out from the same node, this is called the whorled arrangement. Right? So we finished till here. Today we start with the next part, that will be the venation. We start with venation today. Now what is venation? Does the word strike a bell? Can you recall something? Venation? Yes, it's the arrangement of veins on the lamina. So what is venation? Venation is arrangement of veins on the leaf blade or lamina. Now vein you have done also. You remember when we did the leaf, that the petiole of the leaf extends through the leaf, this lamina or the leaf blade through the center. This is called the midrib, the main vein or midrib. You can see on both the sides, and you can see from the midrib the other veins, side veins are coming out. They are called the veinlets. So this arrangement of veins on the leaf, this is called the venation. There are two types. What are the two types? One is reticulate, the other one is called parallel. Now this is the reticulate venation. Can you see the reticulate venation here? Can you see the midrib? This is the dorsal side of the leaf and this is the ventral side. See, the petiole extending through the center of the lamina as the midrib or the main vein. And from here you can see the side veins are coming out. These are called the veinlets. So this type of the venation, where there is a distinct midrib and the other veins come out from the midrib, that is called the reticulate venation. A simple diagram. This is extending here, and from here the other veins are coming. So this is the midrib or the main vein, and these are the veinlets. Again from them further branches will come. Clear? So this is your reticulate. Now what is the other one? Now I'll show you this one. See this leaf. What is the difference between this and the other one? Can you say any definite midrib is shown here? There is no prominent midrib. We can see the parallel lines very closely. If you see, you can see the parallel lines here. So that means this type of venation where there is no definite midrib, all the veins are parallel to each other. Obviously from the name only, the name is given, the venation is also called parallel. So how do we draw it? Suppose we take this leaf, a lily leaf, even the bamboo plant, you have seen the sugar cane, all these leaves, all the veins, you cannot distinguish between any midrib or the side veins like this. All of them like this. And then again The side veinlets are there, smaller veins. So what is the difference between these two? Here in the reticulate venation there is a midrib, there is no midrib. All the side veins come out from the midrib, but here veins are parallel to each other, and that's why this is called the reticulate, this is called the parallel. Mostly the dicot plants. You can see the example in hibiscus, the China rose, or even the rose plant show this type of. And here you have the sugarcane, very common one, sugarcane plant, or you can say the lily flower, lily plant, these leaves, the monocots, they have this. So very simple. Venation is nothing, arrangement of veins, whether it is reticulate or it can be parallel. Okay? So now next we proceed to the functions of the leaves. Now it's a part of the plant, it's one organ of the plant. Obviously all the organs have got some or the other function to do, and you know leaves do a very important function. Very important function is done by the leaves. So let's take the functions. List out all the functions of the leaves. First and most important one, you must have heard about this word, photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Preparing food. Do you know the whole living world, we depend on the green plants for the food. If there were no green plants, there wouldn't have been any life on earth. Why? Because we are eating the food. Maybe you are a non-veg, you are eating the animals, whatever you may be eating, but they themselves are feeding on the plants, and the plants are eaten because they have the food prepared by the leaves. So what this word photo gives you the answer. Photo means light. So what do? Green plants prepare the food during daytime. Why during daytime? What will be available during daytime? Light, energy. And which type of leaves prepare the food? The green ones. What do the green ones contain? Chlorophyll. This is a pigment in the plant cell. You will study in detail later on. The green color is due to the one pigment present in the cell, that's called chlorophyll. And this chlorophyll is very, very important because this absorbs the light energy. And with what substances they make the food? They make food with the help of carbon dioxide and water. Very simple. So in air chapter you have learned last year that use of carbon dioxide. This is, though we breathe out carbon dioxide, we say it's not so useful as oxygen, but it's very useful when it comes to the process of photosynthesis. So the function of the leaf, first function, important function, they prepare food. And what do they prepare food with? They prepare food with carbon dioxide and water. Which cells prepare? The green cells. And when do they prepare? During the daytime when light energy is available. This is very interesting. This is the energy absorbed by the chlorophyll, put into the plant, used in form of a food, and that is the energy we are using when we are eating the food. When, like I'm talking, you are listening, whatever work we are doing, we use energy. We get energy from food. Who has put that energy into the food? The leaves, the green leaves, they have taken that light energy, they have transformed it into chemical energy, they have put it into the food, and that is the food we are eating and we are getting energy. So, isn't it very important function? Right. Second one, exchange of gases. Now, leaves have got tiny holes on their surface. When we do internal structure of the leaf, we'll study in detail. They have tiny holes. We can't see them, but they do have tiny holes. And through these holes, oxygen and carbon dioxide, as it is required, they're taken in and given out. For the breathing purpose, they will take in oxygen, give out carbon dioxide. For photosynthesis process during daytime, they'll take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. So this exchange of gases is done through the tiny holes present on the surface of the leaf blade or lamina. So this is the second function. Third one, we call it transpiration. Now, what is transpiration? It is the process of giving out of excess of water. Now, you know, roots are continuously absorbing water from the soil, right? And they're sending it up through the cells, they're sending it up to the leaves. Leaves are preparing the food during the daytime, but the excess of water, the water is continuously coming up, but all the water molecules that are not used up during photosynthesis, the excess of the water, what happens? The leaves cannot store them. So what do? They give it out from their surfaces, either through the openings or maybe from the surface by evaporation, they can give it out. This process of giving out excess of water, what is this? Giving out of excess of water from the leaf surface is called the transpiration. You can do this very simple experiment, you can do it at home. You take a potted plant. Suppose you have got a small potted plant, take any small potted plant. This is inside the soil. This is the plant with the leaves. Now what you will do, you take a polythene packet, take the transparent one, transparent polythene packet, cover this plant here like this and tie it up tightly here. Cover the upper part of the aerial part of the plant and tie it up very tightly and leave it outside for some time. After a few hours, if you do it in the morning, by evening you will see there are drops of water inside this bag, this transparent polythene packet, because it will hazy and moist and some drops of water here. Now you have tied it up here. Obviously water from the soil has not evaporated and gone in. So from where this has come? This has come from the surface of the leaf. Same experiment if you do with a twig, with a branch, without the leaves. You do it without the leaves. You will see there is no trace of water inside. Obviously, we prove that this giving out of excess of water takes place from the surface of the leaf only. So, it is the function of the leaf. Fourth one, very, very interesting. Vegetative reproduction. Do you know that we can get new plants from a leaf? It's very, very sort of interesting that there is a plant, very common plant, all of you know that. This is called, name of the plant is Bryophyllum. Bryophyllum. The leaf of this plant, from the notches of the margin of the plant, it has got some notches there, like some cut out that part there, serrated margin. Suppose this is the leaf. From these notches here, this is the leaf, normal leaf, but from these notches you can see, especially if you make little bit of scratch here, you will see it comes out very easily. So what happens? From these, the leaves, a new plant is growing. This is called vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction. If you cut out this part and put it into the soil, it will grow into a new plant. So it's very interesting that even the leaves can give rise to new plants. That's called the reproduction vegetatively. Why vegetative? Because no flower is involved, no seed is involved. Directly from the leaf, the new plant is growing. And the last one, the fifth function, storage of food. Give me example. All of you eat the leaves. Which one? Forget about the spinach, forget about the your coriander leaves. Any other thing where you eat the leaves, where leaves store food? The very common one, I'll draw the diagram here for you. Just see which one I am drawing. What is this? Cut section. Which vegetable is this? Onion. We eat onion. And these are the leaves, the fleshy leaves of onion that we eat because it stores food. So it's a leaves. If you can always ask me, how is it it's a leaf? How can we prove? Because this is the part of the onion, this is the stem. Lower side, roots are coming. This is your terminal bud. These are the apical buds. And these are axillary buds also present here at the axil. And these are the fleshy leaves. Outside, the outermost one is the scaly leaf. But the inside, they become fleshy because they store food. So leaves also store food also, and we can use that also. So, other than, of course, you eat spinach, you eat cabbage, these are all the leaves which store food. So we get the functions. How many functions are there? 5. What are they? Prepare food for the plant, exchange of gases, transpiration or giving out of excess of water, grow new plants, vegetative propagation or reproduction, example given bryophyllum, and storage of food. Very common example is the onion. So 5 functions of the leaf. Clear? Now the last part of the leaf is left, that is the modification. Modification, you know the meaning of modification. What is modification? The normal structure that we see, if they adopt any other speciality in them, for some reason, maybe for adjust themselves to survive or for some function, that is called the modification. Modification means special type of leaves. Normal leaves attaining a special type of structure or function. That's called modification. So we take modifications. First one, you have seen, all of them you have seen. As I am writing, it will come to you. You will start remembering them. First one, leaf tendril. Just a rough diagram. What is tendril? Simple, coiled, spring-like structure. That's called the tendril. Now obviously, if the plant is straight, erect, and it's got a good sort of support, it will stand on its own. But which plants will need the support? Obviously, the weak stem plant. The weak ones which cannot stand on its own, which needs little extra support, like the children. They hold the finger of their parents. Same way these plants also need little support. And for that, the tip, you can see at the apex, the leaves, instead of growing into leaves, they modify into small tendril-like structure, coil-like structure, to take the support and so that they can grow upwards. Second one, leaf spine. This you have seen all around yourself, everywhere. In every field you will see some of this plant. You must have guessed by looking at this structure. I'll draw a simple diagram. This is what? Cactus. Example of this you can take pea or sweet pea. Now here, this flat part, this flat green part actually is the stem. This is the stem of the plant. And the leaves reduce themselves into small spines. Why? To reduce the surface area, because mostly these plants are grown to store the water in them. They need water to store in them. Just now we learned the function, the transpiration, giving out of excess of water through the leaves. So here the leaves, instead of the flat green lamina, they reduce into small spines. Obviously loss of water will also be lesser, so they can store the water here. And the function of the leaf, that they prepare the food, that is taken over by the stem. So this flat green stem does the function of photosynthesis, and the leaves, they reduce into small spine to store the water. Third one, phyllodes. This is also to store water. Now just see here, you know that a leaf has petiole and then it has the lamina, common. Now here, in this phyllodes, what happens? The petiole takes the shape of the lamina. Petiole takes the shape of the lamina, and the leaf surface is reduced into tiny leaflets. Again to store water. This is called the phyllodes. Phyllodes is the modification of which part of the leaf? The petiole. Petiole of the leaf modifies into leaf-like structure, into phyllodes, again so that the leaf surfaces are reduced. Fourth one is the scales. Scale means dry. Just now I had drawn the onion. You have seen in the onion, in the garlic. Have you seen in the onion and garlic? The outermost layer, the outermost leaf is dry and scaly. Even in ginger, just see the ginger. If you have seen the ginger, these are the nodes, the buds are there, and they are protected by dry scale. Very thin, peppery, dry scales are there, which covers and protects the thing. So this is the ginger, approximate, just to get the idea. This is the ginger. So scaly leaves, the leaves become dry, scale-like structure, thin, peppery, scale-like structure, just for protection. Here the fleshy parts are protected. Here also the buds are protected by the thin, scaly leaves. Now the next one, which is very, very important, that is, some plants are specially made in such a way that they eat, you'll be very surprised, they eat the insects. How do they eat? Why do they eat? Because they grow normally in certain places where they do not get enough nitrogen from the soil. And you know, nitrogen is important for the formation of protein and for growth. So plants also need nitrogen. It's one of the minerals they need. So how do they modify themselves? We'll see that diagram here. These are called the insectivorous plants. Insectivorous, insectivorous, they eat. insectivorous modification. Now again, this is the insectivorous plant. Now I'll draw a simple plant, the simple leaf. Just see this simple leaf, and we'll compare the two. This is a simple leaf, and the same leaf has modified into this insectivorous plant. Because it modifies into a pitcher-like structure, it's called the common name given pitcher plant. But actually the name of the plant is, example, Nepenthes. Why they take this shape? Because they need nitrogen. They do not get from the soil. They need insects for that. Now here you learned when you did the simple structure of the leaf base. Here the leaf base has modified into leaf-like structure. It's not actually lamina, it is the leaf base. Then comes the petiole. This petiole here has modified into this round coil-like structure. And actually the lamina or the leaf base, that is modified into this pitcher. And this leaf apex, it has made the lid of the pitcher. See how interesting? So the leaf base has modified into the lamina-like structure, and this part does the function of photosynthesis. Normal function, that is the preparing food. That has to be done. That is done by the leaf base modified into this part. Now the petiole made into coil so that it can uphold the pitcher like that. Then the lamina, the actual lamina of the leaf, it makes the pitcher, and the apex here makes the cover. So here inside it has got tiny hooks. So when any insect comes and sits here, it's made out of those sensory cells. When any insect comes and sits here, automatically the cover, it closes up. The lid is closing the cover here. And the insect, it gets trapped inside. Some of enzymes given out by these sensory cells inside, which will help the insect to be digested, and so that the nitrogen from the insect body will be used up by the leaf. Right, very interesting. So this is the insectivorous plant. There are many other there. One is, there is another one called bladderwort. It's like football bladder. It looks like that. And that's a sort of a plant. The name of the plant is Utricularia. But basic functioning process is same. As soon as the insect will sit here, what will happen? They get closed, they trap the insect, and through the enzyme they digest the insect. So the modifications, leaf tendril. What is the tendril? The coil-like structure. Then spines. In the cactus you have seen the spine, very small thorns. Phyllodes is which is in the petiole only, the modifies into phyllodes. These two for storing the water. This is for support. I'll write it. Leaf tendril for main reason for modification, support. These two reduce water loss. Scale, protect the inner parts, and insectivorous, especially for nitrogen. So 5 modifications. This finishes your chapter of leaf. Everything is done about this topic.